And we will start with the person who is a representative from Government of India and heading an organization, Broadcast Engineering Consultants India Limited, which is working a lot in terms of providing engineering in various key projects of India and working a lot towards building safe cities across India. There are a lot of success stories with him to share with all of us. And it's our pleasure to have him here. He's come from Noida, spares some time for us. And it's a pleasure to get the second day started with his address. And I invite Mr. George Kuruvilla, Chairman and Managing Director of Broadcast Engineering Consultants India Limited, BECIL. Please come and address here. A round of applause for Mr. Kuruvilla, please.
Good morning, everybody, and I thank the Municipal Commissioner of Nagpur and elites for inviting me to this conclave and to share few thoughts. A little bit about myself, just to connect with each other. So I am an engineering and communication graduate and postgraduate in digital communication from IIT Roorkee. And through Indian Engineering Services, I joined All India Radio and Doordarshan, which is now called Prasar Bharati, and served 23 years in various stations and in headquarters of Doordarshan and All India Radio. And after that, I joined BECIL, which is called Broadcast Engineering Consultant India Limited. And this is also a public sector unit, 100% owned by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So over the last nearly 22 years, BECIL has been doing projects of studio, transmitters, FM radio, community radio. So what you see Lok Sabha today, all that you see, the coverage of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, robotic camera setup and their channel setup, everything has been installed by BECIL. We do media centers in Central University to record the lectures of professors so that the content is made and thereafter which can be used to deliver through the Gyan Darshan channel, which is through Doordarshan's platform of DTH. So we were involved all these years in providing the technical facilities and consultancy in mostly the broadcast area. So the common infrastructure for the transmission of private FM radio. So whatever you listen to the private FM in 86 cities across the country, the infrastructure has been built by BECIL. We have nearly supplied more than 60% of the community radios that you see in the country. We manufacture the transmitter and the antenna in Bangalore for community radio. So thereafter, we also are into the cable TV. So we are the monitoring agency for the implementation of digital cable TV in the country. Government of India decided by this March 2017, all the cable across the country should become digital. And so we set up around 12 different monitoring centers across 12 cities, and thereby making and connecting with the local cable operators, the MSOs, the broadcasters, and with the local administration so that the implementation becomes smooth and if there are issues to sort it out. We are also auditors for the digital cable TV head end. If there is any issue between the broadcasters or with the cable TV operators regarding anything to do with the cable digital head end, we are mandated by TRAI, and DDSET refers all such cases to BECIL as auditors to come out and give enabling a decision on any dispute that arises. So from there on, we moved on to CCTV and Safe City surveillance, all these projects. In the last few years, we noticed that there is a huge potential and all the cities are now going for the surveillance because we cannot police every part of the area, and we need to have the CCTVs to get the pictures and have the analytics to take a decision or to take action on wherever the policing is required. So we started working in this direction, and we studied the various technologies, we studied the OEMs behind and the technologies surrounded. We started participating in the tenders being floated by various departments. So we won the Indian Railway tender for the Eastern Railway, where they floated a tender for baggage scanning and the CCTV surveillance and access control of railway stations. And so we are right now doing project of Shialdah and Howrah and around 9 more railway stations across in the eastern region. And hopefully in the next 3 months we will complete that project. We did a project for the Ministry of Defense, Sena Bhavan, the South Block, Ministry of External Affairs and Ministry of Defense, putting the access control vehicle, underwheel vehicle scanner, and the smart card for the personnel of Army and Defense Forces. And so this is around 60 crore project which we are implementing. Hopefully in the next 3 months we'll be completing that project as well. Then recently we won another tender of 110 crore of 43 airports. They had issued a tender for the access control of their staff and the vehicles that come into the airport. And so we won that, and we are now implementing the access control, that is Aadhaar based access control of personnel of the airport authority and the vehicles that go RFID tagging, the boom barriers, etc. and connected to the centralized command and control system. So we got into all these domains, and Rajasthan again did the Safe City project for 7 cities. And we provided the analytics platform for that, and Tech Mahindra and L&T, who won the L1 and L2, that is 4 cities, to Tech Mahindra and L&T 3 cities. They're implementing again this CCTV and surveillance project in 7 cities of Rajasthan. But the analytic platform has been taken by this people search and even social media. All that has been from the BECIL platform. So we are doing that. So we are now covered nearly all the aspects of requirement of a safe city, projects that are coming up, and we are participating and winning also and implementing those projects. Being a public sector unit, the advantage that we have is on one side we understand government working, the government system, the tendering process, the requirements, and the other side we are a technology company. So when we were in Doordarshan or in the radio or in broadcasting, we understand satellite communication, we understand RF communication very well, because all our transmitters are terrestrial transmission. And while we handle the station, we handle the power supply, the air conditioning, the facility management as engineers. So all this experience which we gathered, that is helping us to build up now the projects that are coming under the smart city. And now the need or the requirement is that we try to understand the various technologies available and see the Indian condition which is existing today, customize it according to the requirement of the country's need, and bring the solution at an optimal cost, both in terms of the capital expenditure and the recurring expenditure thereafter, because our country is so huge and vast that we cannot afford to spend lots of money in the processes which we are now getting into the safe city domain. And this is the big challenge, and we are continuously updating ourselves. And while we attend such conferences and conclaves, we try to understand what are the technologies, the newer technologies which are coming, and try to put ourselves into the domain that how we can facilitate in the implementation of the technology. The need of the hour today is that it's no dearth of technologies around, it's growing very fast and it's all there across the world. And on one side, the intention of government is very clear, with Honorable Prime Minister giving trust into the smart city, digital India, e-governance, all these high technology areas. He is right from day one, and this is a big mandate that all of us has, and especially we being in as a government PSU, this is our mandate as well. So when we look at it on one side, that how does government implement a project? So they cannot call up a private party and give the job to them. They know the technology is good, but how do they integrate that or bring that technology with themselves? Lots of our officers, because they are not from the technology domain, they may not understand what a private party or any particular company is putting across to them or putting a presentation, whether it is the right technology, whether it is the optimum thing, what will be the approximate cost, estimated cost, whether it is the best one or do we have a better technology, does it suit the Indian conditions which are very different from European or American advanced countries. So that big question is in front of the government, and on the other side private parties or private companies usually naturally will like to do more and more business on whatever product that they have. And we as public sector unit, our job is that how do we help both the situation and for the goal that we have, the implementation of such technologies in the various state government as well as central government departments. So we are constantly working towards this. On the other side, we also understand that government's mandate coming from Prasar Bharati, we are always concerned about how the socially relevant things or what is a public service should reach the last mile in the country. So we are constantly also involved the last mile connectivity of within the country of various states. So recently we were studying and we are still working on how we can work with the broadband connectivity, which again the Government of India has announced 250,000 villages have to be connected with the broadband fiber. Fiber is not an easy task because laying fiber across all terrains, different terrains, and have the right kind of quality maintained all across, extremely difficult. A lot of the places which need to be connected, they are sometimes too far off and maybe difficult terrains, and to lay a cable becomes very difficult. So now we are approaching DOT and BBNL, that is Bharat Broadband Nigam Limited, that we use the RF technology to reach the last mile. And when we are using the RF technology, it can cover a good 30-40 kilometer range, and can, from this point of the fiber reaching to that village, it becomes easier when we do it with RF. It is very, very cost effective. It can cover a good range of people in a broadcast kind of a situation. So if we are able to implement this, this will really help in the last mile connectivity of people. So we are also involved in the education domain, the smart classroom. Again, it is to do with the camera and the virtual classroom. And if a professor gives a lecture, first of all it gets recorded and it is put in the learning management system. Later on, if somebody would like to listen to that lecture, he is able to do that. And on the other side, when a live lecture can be connected to all the schools or the universities or colleges using the connectivity, and thereby we bring the best of the teachers into the remotest of the areas. That's another area that we are very closely working, and we are already participating in tenders and we are going forward in that. So that socially relevant projects which are very, very important. Yesterday we were hearing also about the healthcare facility, a very important thing, how telemedicine also, basically it's an audio video connectivity to the last mile. We are able to bring out the pictures of people using machine and connectivity to a central hospital where the panel of doctors are there who can advise whether such a patient needs to be brought to a central hospital or not, whether he needs a particular kind of whether a medication will be alright which can be delivered to him, or whether he needs to come out for some more checkups or some more surgery or something else. So thereby you can save a lot of time and energy of the last mile villager to come all the way to hospital, sit there, have some accommodation, look for things, and be troubled and leave his daily wage which he is losing there. So again, there also it is the connectivity which is the most important thing from the last mile. If you can reach out, the doctor's advice to the last mile and their systemic requirement, their profiles to the central location, that's another area which is a very socially relevant area. So the country needs all of them in health, in education, in safe city, smart city, and we are working towards all these areas in the last few years, and hopefully we'll continue to be present there. I have been attending smart city conclaves, and we understand that the task is very huge, and it's end of the day it is the sensor which needs to be connected to whatever that we do and connecting into a centralized location for a command and control and thereby decisions can be taken, the analytics can be put which can bring out the decision making process for the authorities to take the right decision for and timely decisions for various actions, whether it is the garbage management, whether it is the traffic management, the fire management, the all these activities of municipality. So this task is huge, and I would say that we need all to come together to have a think tank on one side, the other side the implementers of the technology, and make sure that at an optimal cost we are able to implement these technologies. Yesterday I was very happy to listen to a commissioner from Nasik. He said in Nasik he has implemented various layers of information of their municipality. I was very happy at a very low cost. They were able to build all the information on a single platform, which is so easy for any officers to take decisions on. This is the need of the hour that we all need in our own areas to contribute our part of it and build this nation together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. We request you to stay here just for a minute. And if I request respected Commissioner of Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, Mr. D.T. Vaghare, to please present a memento to Shri Kuruvilla. So it's a token of thanks and appreciation from our side for your presence here and sharing your the insights on the work by BECIL. A round of applause for Mr. Kuruvilla, please. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.